A Wizard Tower.
Return of Gelu review.
Nice wolf armor, by the way. Hey! Lion Hero. He is going to be a special guest in this Terraria series.
Greetings, comrades. This is 88 Gelu, and I'm finally here with my brother's Aaune deck. I'm not even, so far as I know, this is the first Aaune deck on YouTube, but clearly I could be wrong, and as always, there are probably much better decks you can make based around Aaune, but so far as I know, this one works very well. I actually played against my brother using my Titan's Rage deck, which is so far my best deck, and I beat him once and he beat me once, both of us using those two decks. So overall it's pretty good. However, I might have just been, that was also before my match with Afjack, so maybe I just wasn't playing as cleverly. But anyway, let's move on with the deck, shall we? So first of all, we obviously have Aaune the Olgarak Projection, and the whole point of this deck is to flip him over to Aaune the Olgarak Avatar. Now, in order to do that, Aaune the Olgarak's, it starts face up on the projection side, and in order for you to flip him over, the instructions are on Calling of Aaune, which costs 4 Muja counters. If Aaune the Olgarak Projection won combat this turn, while equipped with a Baton of Aaune, you played Rage of Aaune this turn, flip over Aaune the Olgarak Projection. So obviously he's equipped with Baton of Aaune, which gives him an additional 5 energy and water 5. Now this deck is because of Aaune the Avatar's abilities, which is that he has 200 in all disciplines, 100 energy, and outperform all disciplines 20, and you can discard a Muja card. Your opponent, you can discard a Muja card and your opponent has to sacrifice a creature. This is built around being a wisdom deck because, well, these guys are just suitable for that task, because the main guys of this deck are these 3 right here. And all of them except for Flag Amp, actually no, only Bakun is good at wisdom, but the other 3 creatures that my brother chose, apart from also hearing, are good at wisdom. So, let's move on, shall we? Also, as most of you know, wisdom and water generally go hand in hand, and water is also a very big thing in this deck. So, apart from Aaune, now let's go to the front lines. We have Laminkle. He is a Flood Morpher with air and water, 60 energy, Flood Morph, 55 wisdom, and Swift 2. This guy is probably one of the most combative Flood Morphers I've ever seen. He has an Alkaline Wisp to give him an additional 5 energy and 45 wisdom. 40 wisdom. And then we have Ikubra, 95 wisdom. This is probably the most intelligent Kharal you'll ever find. 50 energy, water, fireproof 25, intimidate wisdom 30, and he deals an additional 5 damage against overworlders. The reason this guy's so good, apart from his focus on wisdom, is generally, apart from Mujic and abilities that would remove element types, fire generally, I'm saying generally a lot, For example, attacks like Ember Whip and Dry Touch, which are even more effective against enemies with water. His Fireproof 25 is very helpful. And then he has a Corral Magma Shard to give him an additional 25 energy, Defender Chieftain, and Fire, though the Fire serves no purpose in this. He's just there for the extra 25 and Defender Chieftain. Now, the reason you don't want Aaune to be at the front lines is you want to be able to shuffle through your attack deck a bit so you can try and get to your Rage of Aaune. Because obviously, if you draw a Rage of Aaune, you want to save it until your battle with Aaune. Also, if your opponent has like some big heavy hitters that you know Aaune, the projection, won't stand a chance against, you want to be able to open up a space for him so that you can fight an enemy that Aaune could take down easily in order to transform. So that's why he has Defender Chieftain. Then we have Hearing, Tainted. He's here specifically for his abilities. He has 55 energy, 1 Muji counter, and you can remove 1 Muji counter from him and from each other creature you control to look at the top 3 cards of your target location deck and choose one, and it becomes the new active location. Really great for allowing you to sort through to find the Olgarak path, which makes calling Aaune cost 0 Muji counters. And then he also has a Flux Bauble. At the beginning of combat, look at the top 2 cards of your location deck, put one of them on the top of the deck and the other on the bottom. Hearing is not going to win any battles. His main point is specifically just to help you shuffle through your location deck. You essentially want to sacrifice him, that way you can just arrange your location deck to your liking. Then we have Bakun. This guy is amazing. When an opposing creature gains initiative, reveal the top card of your location deck, and it becomes the new active location. Now, my question is, what would happen if your opponent has Surprise, which means that they'd always win initiative? Paradox? Question mark? So, Bakun has 1 Muji counter, Air and Water, 55 energy, and a Vial of Liquid Thought to enable you to get back some of your attacks that are in your attack discard pile. Last, we have Flag Amp. Floodmorph, look at the top card of target location deck, put the top card of target location deck on the bottom of that deck. Each of those 2 abilities costs 1 Muji counter, and then for 2 Muji counters, your opponent reveals a new active location. This could also help you if your opponent gets like really good locations and you want to get rid of them. He has Water and 50 energy. Oh yeah, also Bakun has 70 wisdom. And he has the Heptad's Crown, which means that he can play music from any tribe, but he loses 10 energy. This is revealed at the beginning of the game. And speaking of music, let's go to the musics, shall we? We have, obviously, the Calling of Aaune. Then we have Harmonics of Water, in case one of your guys loses water, or to power them up. So maybe Aaune could have an easier victory. Sky Song, Apigo, to give target creature 30 wisdom and outperform wisdom 5. That you would definitely want to give to Aaune, because that way his wisdom would go all the way to 75, which is actually decent for a wisdom deck, and he'd have outperform wisdom 5, which would make him much better at killing opponents. Sound of Noise, dispel target Marillion or generic music. Refrain of Denial would obviously be better, but my brother doesn't have a Refrain of Denial. Song of Resurgence, and Denial Refrain of the Deep, which dispels target music for 3 music counters, and it's Marillion music, like Refrain of Denial, which costs 2 and is overworld music. Then we have locations. We have Brawler's Burrow, once again to allow you to shuffle your attack deck, also gain Outperform All Disciplines 5, Considering this is a discipline deck, that's pretty useful. Vidov's Refectorium, also for shuffling through attacks. Because at the beginning of combat, you get to draw 2 attack cards and discard 2 attack cards. 2 Olgarak's Path, initiative Chieftain. Chieftains gain 10 energy. Calling of Aaune costs 4 less music to play, meaning it costs 0. Overworld Library, initiative Water. Creatures you control gain outperform wisdom 5. Courage attacks are reduced by 5. 2 Ropa Shack Chimmerigs. A Riverlands, initiative Wisdom. If a creature deals water damage in the Riverlands, they heal 5 energy. And Lake Blakier, initiative Wisdom. At the beginning of combat, engaged Marillions lose 10 energy. Engaged Marillions named Aaune gain 20 energy. So obviously, if you have Laminka, Icubarn, and heck, if you have Flag Amp, definitely try and switch the locations with either Flag Amp or Hearing's abilities, because it's not good for them. It's specifically for when you're playing as Aaune. And then we have the attacks. We have 2 quick exits. Challenge Wisdom 15, deal 10 damage. A Flash Kick. Look at the top 2 cards of your location deck. Put one of them on the top and one of them on the bottom. Flood Might. 5 base damage. Oh, this also does 5 base damage. 10 water damage. If a creature would gain immune counters from dealing damage with Flood Might, it gains an additional music counter. And each time you use a water attack, both Laminkle and Flag Amp gain music counters. So with Flood Might, they both gain 2, which is amazing. Mind Sink. Opposing engaged creature loses 20 wisdom. Mind Strike. Stat 5 water damage. Stat check Wisdom 30, deal 5. Stat check Wisdom 50, deal 5. Stat check Wisdom 70, deal 5. Aftermath Feint. If your engaged creature is defeated this turn, draw 2 attack cards and discard 2 attack cards. Once again, for if you're ever get in a battle with Hearing. 2 Deliriums. Stat check Wisdom 50, deal 5 damage. Piercing Brilliance. 5 base damage. Challenge Wisdom 15, deal 10 damage. Stat check Wisdom 50. Challenge Wisdom 15, deal 10 damage. Stat check Wisdom 50, opposing engaged creature loses 15 Wisdom. Inner Flood. Water. Remove a music counter from a creature and put a music counter on another creature controlled by the same player. That would allow you to move music counters like from Bakun to Hearing if you want to use Hearing's ability multiple times. Obviously, 2 Rage of Aaunes. 5 base damage, 5 water damage. If your engaged creature is a chieftain, it deals an additional 10. Invader's Tactics. 10 damage, water, 0 damage. If your opponent controls the active location, deal an additional 5 damage. Unsanity. Air 5, water 5, challenge, Wisdom 15, deal 10 damage. Tainted Thunderstorm. 10 base damage, 20 water damage, challenge music counters 1, deal 20 damage. So this could do 50 damage very easily for this deck. 2 Caustic Cascades, which do 20 water damage. Flashmen, stat check, Wisdom 50, heal 5. And Corral Crush. 5 damage, 5 water damage. If your engaged creature is equipped with a shard, deal 10 damage. And that is all. This is my brother's Aaune deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Any suggestions would be helpful, so just put them in the comments section. I will be putting this on Trading Cards Online. You can make decks if you don't possess the cards. It just gives you a little thing saying, you do not have blah 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 cards. So I'm going to put it up there and just not claim to have any of these cards. I mean, I do have like 3 of these guys. Obviously, I don't I have all of these guys, actually, except for Aaune. And I don't have some of the locations and attacks and stuff. But, yeah, guys, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. I'm really looking forward to doing a match with this deck on Trading Cards Online. So, yeah, guys, thanks again for watching. Goodbye.